my name is Mark Tonter, and I am a expert by experience project worker for a Sandlia.
What technology did you use before COVID?
So most of the time, anyway, I used a laptop. Anyway, I've actually had I had actually used a Mac for it mostly. So that's what I tend to use. We used before any of the sort of lockdown and COVID and everything. We used Skype. And then when the lockdown actually happened, because we didn't know what was going to happen and stuff, and how we're going to work from home and things like this, we then looked around and we looked at other things like one of them of which is Teams and then we're using Zoom ever since then lockdown, and even now. Myself and Melissa, my girlfriend, who you're gonna, speak to in due course, mainly use Zoom. It is accessible from a visually impaired perspective. So I'm visually impaired as well as hearing impaired.
Do you use technology for any kind of gaming?
I don't play as many games as I would love. I don't really. I'm not a sort of a game person, but when I do, that's where I tend to use more of the iPad, and also I've got an Apple TV as well. So sometimes I play it on there because it's a bigger screen.
Did you use technology to do any online shopping?
Yes. So a lot of the times I use the app. So for example, I use Morrison's app. And then if I do need to quickly adjust anything, then sometimes I also use my Mac for that as well.
Did you find the shopping apps easy to use?
I've found it not too bad. Sometimes though, I quickly just have to sometimes with a screen reader like VoiceOver and that, sometimes it can take a while for it to navigate through the pages and that. So sometimes I just turn it off and quickly sort of whiz it through with Magifying or something like that.
Do you enjoy using technology?
I do when it works. I don't mind it, and I get used to it really. We use it every day, so yeah.
Do you have any frustrations with technology?
Yeah, when I click the wrong thing, maybe.
Do you feel there's enough support about if you do need help with any technology?
Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, and especially when it comes to sort of navigating to certain things. But so depending on who we're talking to. So if, for example, we're talking about people who've got visual impairment and things like that, sometimes there's a lot of things they have to do to make things accessible. So we have to then write to developers and stuff. But in terms of support workers, I don't know. I think a lot of people are still having to get used to it, with other people, and I think sometimes actually it's been really, really difficult to actually, get the people to understand the whole, technology thing still, even though yes, they probably have Zoom or Teams or Skype or any of the others, and sometimes it can be very, very difficult to get the right support for it. But other than that, once I think if we get the right people, I think we've got the right support for it.
Okay, so following on from what you've just said, do you prefer to use technology to meet up with people, or would you like to meet up with people in the real world?
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say a bit of both.
Yeah.
I definitely think that you can't just do one without the other. So I think it's important that both is being used, and that just shows how how productive you are if you're in a if you're working with people. But if you're meeting up with people as well, then it's important that it's both there, not just one or the other. So for example, if some people are saying, like, for example, in an everyday situation, oh well, you might be better off going to back to where you were and don't use technology at all, then that is the wrong move, because then you lose all your learning on doing stuff online.